All right, today we are joined by multiple Fargo Champ, multiple Fargo All-American, NDSU alumni, national qualifier, Big 12 placer, Brandon Metz.
Hell yeah.
Happy to have you on, Brandon.
Thanks for the intro.
Let's roll.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's a man right there.
List of accolades.
Yeah. You got this whole room probably has got its own laundry list, I would imagine.
Building them.
Yeah.
There you go. That's true as
Work,
well.
Yeah, working on it for sure.
Just make sure they just keep going.
Yeah.
Less bad about yourself as things go on.
Yeah.
That's a good list to try and make longer.
If there's a list to make longer, that's one of them.
Yeah.
100%.
Never thought about it like that. Having a list of just everything.
I mean, there's things in life that you don't want the list to go longer.
Oh, exactly. Problems?
Like kids sometimes.
Kids? Yeah, I'm sure there's a threshold.
More than 2. Oh, shit. Yeah.
Speaking of kids, you just became a dad. How has that been?
It's good. It's definitely a change. I'll give you my joke I made. Maybe we can call it a dad joke. So people always talk about dad strength or whatever. 'Cause oh yeah, I'm a dad, now I get dad strength. I don't think it's dad strength. I said I think it's dad gains. Because you don't realize how much you have to put the car seat here, put this here, move that there. And I'm like, holy shit, this isn't dad strength, this is dad gains. You're just moving stuff way more than you would on your regular day to day.
Yeah, that makes.
And it was a girl, right?
Yep.
So you're a girl dad.
I am a girl dad.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people when I found out the gender. I go, yeah, we're having a girl, and then a strange amount of people go, yeah, you would be a girl dad. They're like, you'd be a great girl dad. And I'm like,
they're taking a shot at you.
Is that a diss? No. I think he'd be good for a girl. I'm like, it was a lot of that. And I was like, all right, whatever. It's a compliment.
So when was she born?
She's going to test me on the clock here. Just kidding.
Yeah.
May 17th.
May 17th. 11
a.m. during Michigan, Alabama softball game on TV. For some reason. I remember helping.
Who's winning? Yeah. So
that's my elephant memory kicking in. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
So does anything stick out to you on it that was you weren't expecting up to this point?
After she was born and
now?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say I told buddies and stuff. I'm like, it's almost like technique. It's weird. You're gonna have to be kind of locked in and caring and focused because at that age, she's 7 weeks right now. She's pretty helpless, but there's technique. How to feed her the best, what you have to do right after she eats, and keeping her stimulated and stuff like that, or you know what I mean? I'm like, shit, there's technique involved.
Yeah.
I would never thought of that.
Right.
I don't know if you guys ever think if I had a kid, you gotta have all the techniques.
Yeah, hopefully put it way in the future on that. Yeah.
Back burner.
Well, if I said I had a kid on the way.
I wouldn't believe it.
Well,
You gotta kiss a girl first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get a girlfriend first.
Yeah. You don't need a girlfriend to have a kid.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
You gotta talk to her.
get a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a fish or something first.
A fish.
Make sure you can.
Speaking of fish, though, I used to be big into aquariums and stuff. My middle school and freshman sophomore year, I had a bunch of fish tanks and I had a bunch of fish.
Really?
Was
it hard to maintain or easy?
Yeah, and towards the end, I definitely started dying out from it.
Yeah, it was hard, or it was easy.
That's the same thing earlier.
It was easy at first because it's you're so motivated to do it and stuff, but then later on you start to realize how much maintenance there is behind it.
That's a good point.
You gotta constantly change the water and feed them. Based off the species, you want to feed them either once a day or even every other day, or certain species you feed them once a week. It's it all goes different, and then you have different food pellets for each one, and yeah.
Speaking of fish tanks, I don't know why that reminds me. When I was in high school once, I think I was laying in my room or something, hanging out, And my dad like came in and he was like, Brandon. I'm like, what? And he's like, there's some kid outside for you. And there was a kid from my school who was like, you know, I'll be as like honest and he was a little different, like, a little strange, weird, like behind the 8 ball, whatever you want to call it.
Slow.
No, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm just gonna say it was just different.
Yeah.
I didn't even really know him either. And he's like, hi, Brandon, I need help. I bought this fish tank at a garage sale, but I need help like moving it. And I'm like, I don't even know you. I didn't know his name. And I like ended up going to this garage sale with him and like helping him like move this giant fish tank into like his parents' trailer home. And I'm like, that was weird. There's your fish tank story. That's all.
What the?
That is really random.
That's growing up in West Fargo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Going off that, we should start off a little bit. Your younger years, whatever you want to touch on. What elementary did you go to? Like elementary, middle school?
I'm very proud of my elementary school. Ellie Berger Elementary.
Yep.
It was a block away from my parents' house, which was so my house growing up was like a block away from my elementary school and like a block and a half away from my high school. And my dad's work was just down the street.
Dang.
That's sweet, honestly.
Yeah, that was my space.
Yeah.
So you were born in West Fargo.
Yep.
Okay.
Never left.
Dang.
Dang right.
That's right.
Do they have a different house now than the one?
Yeah, so my freshman year of college, I was just finishing up and I was like looking to get I was gonna like be roommates with some guys in my dorm and like I was pretty close to signing the paperwork and my parents had just bought a new house and my dad just goes, yeah, no, you're not living with those guys. He's like, you're living with us.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, I guess. I mean, it was kind of sweet. Like I was a sophomore in college living in a brand new house.
Yeah, and you get to save money that way too.
Yeah, I was cashing, full cost of attendance and my stipend.
Yeah.
Just living at home.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
All from
right
Ellie
there.
Berger Elementary.
Heck yeah. So when did you started wrestling young, right?
Yep, like 4 years old.
4 years old. And you were tech team, right?
I started. It was called like the West Fargo Youth Program.
Okay.
It was it might be like one of those like. It was one of those like 1 month, 2 month things that they do like during like the high school season.
Sure.
A couple years into it, I went over to tech team.
Okay.
That was the club team growing up here.
Sure. So, and when did you go to tech team then, you think?
Probably so I started wrestling when I was 4.
Yeah.
I would say 6, 7.
6.
Okay.
6, 7.
Yeah.
Get some clicks for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So then your tech team, did you keep training tech team like all through high school pretty much?
No, not really. Tech team kind of, I would not say burnout. It kind of like faded out. So I think right when I got to like 7th grade, so I don't know if these guys know, obviously you know, 7th grade's kind of when high school wrestling starts in North Dakota. When I got in 7th grade, Legends of Gold took over tech team, and then there was like this flip-flop series. So I didn't really have much to do with it.
Sure.
I still did like the spring stuff. To be honest, like I started training at NDSU full-time when I was like a sophomore.
Yep.
Spring. So that was pretty much where I was.
That's pretty much what you needed.
Yeah, that's such an advantage being able to do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I never even thought about it at the time, but that was just kind of like, well, my issue was like obviously I'm giant. Like there's just not big good people running around.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay,
You just pushed everybody over.
I'm gonna go wrestle the college guys at that time.
Yeah.
And that was like perfect for my development.
Right.
So like when you started wrestling at 4 years old until college, did you like do any other sports or was that like just wrestling full time?
He's a football legend.
I'm a big football guy. Like I would say like for my favorite sports, I'm like wrestling and football are like basically tied for me.
Okay.
I like football from like I don't know, it's just a good product. It's just fun to me. And I think I was talking with someone today. So I started like lifting weights when I was like 7 years old. My dad was a firefighter and he bring me to the fire station. And my whole life was football, wrestling, lifting.
Okay.
So, like, for instance, Sandy here, he started working at my dad's company this summer, right?
Yeah.
Liking it?
Yeah, I love it.
Free shout-outs? Just kidding. But anyways, you're working at Metz company. That's my dad's company. He might have told you this. I don't know. Maybe you figured it out. I've never done a single thing in the shop. I couldn't tell you anything in there, how to do it, any of it. It was just football, wrestling, lifting from like, late elementary until like I was 24 years old.
Yeah.
All I knew was training and school.
Right.
So that was. But football was pretty important to me. That was supplemented throughout your year. But I wrestled from November till Fargo's over. Actually, no. I would go a couple years there. You go November till Fargo.
Yep.
And then I don't know if they still have it. There used to be this like it was like AAU duels. What was it called?
Scholastic duels?
Yeah, no, not Scholastic. I've done that.
I think I know what you mean. I've been one of those when I was like younger.
There was a duel tournament. So
Was it in like Iowa?
It moved around. It was in Iowa one year.
Yes.
I'll try and give some
I
context.
did that one time.
I heard of that.
It was all freestyle. It was 16 matches.
Yes.
In 4 days. And guess what? I wasn't even wrestling for North Dakota. Like, Team South Dakota called my dad and was like, we need a 220 or heavyweight or whatever it was. And I'm like, all right, I just got done, like, a long, hard summer. He's like, you're going South Dakota. You're going to Team South Dakota. I'm like, what?
Thanks, Dad.
I said, I just wrestled like 12 matches or whatever it was at Fargo. And
Yeah.
like, hopping on a bus. So that's a crazy. Those are fun memories, though.
Yeah.
I have some really good stories about that trip, or a couple of those trips.
One time, your dad was telling me about, I can't remember what year, if it was your freshman or sophomore, but he said you're smaller and you like lost one match or something. And he took you down to the fire hall and he had you in there all night just working out. He said he had you crying and stuff. He said
I probably
he was just in there screaming at you and making you work out all night.
I think there was like this weird phase where we were like, it was like pull-ups was the thing. Like, we're gonna try and learn pull-ups, like do like good pull-ups. And I could not do like, and I couldn't do like more than like 2 or 3, whatever it was. And I'm like late elementary school, middle school, and I was like getting pissed off. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, true story, I ripped 10, like 10 decent ones.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. That I don't know if that was the same story or not.
I don't know.
Iteration of it there. That's a good one. Freak out 10 pull-ups. Little big Mets, whatever you want to call me.
That's that like superhuman strength. Like when a mom's kid's dying, they just lift up a car. That's like what you had going right there.
Mama bear straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a few seconds there.
You got any like super memorable stories from like elementary, middle school, either school or just anything that pops to your head?
Like in school?
What in school or wrestling related or at your home?
I'm trying to think.
Pretty general question there, but
I would say just growing up, I got to go to I'm gonna go to like a little bit of middle school, high school. We have like our Team North Dakota summer camp that was out in Bismarck, getting ready for Fargo, and we just did. Oh, I'm not gonna say names, but we were playing. You ever heard of the game like Ditch?
Yep.
Yeah, so like we got invited to a buddy's girlfriend's house to play Ditch, and we were like 8th, 9th graders. I think the one guy might have been a little younger, 7th grader, or whatever it was. But we're playing Ditch, and one of the kids, like he was like behind a bush or something with this other girl, and he like kissed her. And like she flipped out because she's like, this guy just ruined my first kiss or something. Like, I don't know why this is such an insane story. Like, we basically went, we gotta leave. Like we had to leave because like this kid
just crossed the line.
Like I don't even know how. All I remember is like, you guys gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
We had no idea what the guy had done. Pretty funny.
That's a good one.
That's my elementary story.
That is
or middle school.
What is the most memorable thing from tech team?
From tech team?
Yeah.
Oh man. So when I got into it, they had, this is gonna sound funny, the teams were like, there was like an A and a B team, right? And if you were on the A team, you were on what's called tech team black. So the singlets were silver and black, but they were more black with like silver outline. And then like tech team silver was the B team.
The B squad.
That was silver singlets with like the black outlining.
Like flip flop.
Yeah. And if you were on tech team black, like I don't know what it was. There was just like this. Oh man, you're
yeah, aura.
Black. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there was tons of D1 kids that came like out of that club and ended up coming through the ranks. I think I don't know if you've ever heard of Milo Trustee.
Yep.
So Milo started Matt Pack in Bismarck, who he coached Ryan Kringley, who came through there, and then Ryan started tech team, the club I grew up in. For these two guys, Milo is this like super old guy who now he lives in the mountains in Colorado, and he's just insane.
Milo Trustee is the craziest person I have ever met in my whole life. We were doing Fargo Camp, go out to Bismarck, and one day Milo comes in the room, and we do 4-man groups, and we did where one guy's in the middle, and they keep coming on you, dude. And I swear it was like 2 hours. He was like, yep, 40 minutes each guy in the middle, and we just went the whole time. Like by the end, it was literally just like the guy in the middle was just like like
barely
fishing.
Standing up.
Yeah,
probably.
like you couldn't even move. And then he's just like, at the end, he's like, "All right, guys, bring it in. See you later." And he just walks out the room. That's it.
He has some crazy stories and like training mechanisms. He would have us. He's really big on that. Like you're gonna have one move that you're gonna be so good at. You're gonna hit it on every single person in the world. It doesn't matter. This is your setup. This is your move, and that you're gonna have the best cardio. And he trained. So the Steiners came out of Matt Pack and Bismarck. He was their coach, and I think kind of the trajectory he set him on definitely linked up. Like it was probably going to Iowa. Obviously, would have been like a step up for them as far as like talent in the room. But I would like to think that mentality, lifestyle wise, it was pretty similar to what they were getting there.
Yeah, it was probably easier at Iowa.
Yeah, he introduced us. We call it, what is it? The Indian runs. Where like, that guy. You guys ever done those?
Yeah.
Indian runs, and then you run around the room, and then the challenge was sprint till you can't. So basically, you sprint around the two double circle, and you just keep going, and you can't stop until you like can't sprint. And so you don't want to be the first guy, and so once you're done, you start walking, and you're done, and no one wants to be the first guy out. And he does this. I'm talking 4-year-olds up to 18-year-olds. It's the same like training style.
Wow.
Holy crap.
My dad loves this story. We were in, there was a tournament called Bighorn Nationals.
Oh, yep.
In Colorado, and so he lived near there. So when we went to the tournament, we got to go up to his house where he lived in the mountains, and he's basically like giving us like not like a pump up speech, like a mental toughness speech, and he's like, yeah, you're gonna get really tired, or when you're doing stuff, there's gonna be a little voice in your head. And he's like, I don't know if he said this legit. He's like, you gotta tell that voice in your head to shut the fuck up. Like, you tell it to shut up. You tell that voice in your head to shut up, and you keep going. And I think it was my mom who just be with me, but my mom like told my dad about the story, and my dad just like is like smile. He's like, you gotta tell that voice to shut up. And then I think about it. Pretty good advice.
Yeah.
You're like doing something, you absolutely sucks, and then you know it's like just this like, hey, stop, and he's like, you tell her to shut up. And we're like 8. It's good.
You guys are like Rocky going up this thing.
Because we were like taking wood and like going up to the top.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah, it was hilarious.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And this is like a day or two before the competition.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's even better. Youth Nationals. Carry that log up to the top.
Yeah.
Tell her to shut up.
No, that's a good story.
You've all been there where you're like, I am about to quit. There is a little voice. There really is.
There is.
I never thought about it.
Yeah.
That
You just
crazy man on the
shut
mountain told me.
Yeah.
So you were a big Greco guy, like obviously, like with all your Fargo titles and stuff, and world team.
Yeah.
And so, like, what got you into Greco? Like, what was your start? Who pushed you to do that?
I remember my first freestyle. Oh, little tangent. my first year where I won like North Dakota Youth State. They had the thing called the Triple Crown. I mean, obviously that's the same all the way up. That's if you win all 3 styles in your state.
That's the coveted right there when you're
and my
young.
dad's like, we got to go for the Triple Crown. So I just like started the freestyle Greco, but this is going to sound funnier. He told me, he's like, hey, because we were learning, I don't know, I think end of folk style season, we are learning the butcher. You guys call it the butcher in Pennsylvania? Maybe barbed wire or something? Screwdriver. Take both arms, cross face, rock one around the head. Like your arms across, and then they walk around the head.
Bundle?
Yeah, bundle.
Yeah, the bundle.
Bundle,
So we call it butcher, like very much a folk style move.
Uh-huh.
I think he told me, he's like, you do this move and you pin someone, we'll get you an Xbox or something. That's a joke. But anyway, I went to freestyle Greco State, and I'm pretty sure it was like Greco, and I just was like, butcher, like, funny enough. But no, I think I just had a little bit of success with it earlier. The throws and stuff, I thought that was super fun. People are like, oh, you're the Greco guy. I actually really like freestyle.
Yeah.
I like folk style too, but I kind of paired the two of them together. I thought it was a little more of a free product, if that makes sense. Kind of like the freedom to kind of do things a little more unique and score points out of it. I always thought was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it really is fun.
Yeah, I like freestyle more than Greco for sure too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think they're just, honestly, I break it down as they're just like different sports.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just have more success in Greco than freestyle, but
that is true. Like, it's just kind of if you're doing a lot better in Greco, like I'd go to a tournament, I'd win Greco, like let's say Fargo for instance, I'd get first in Greco, I got second in freestyle to the same by like a point, and they're like, man, you're the Greco guy. I'm like, I mean, I guess I'm not that bad at freestyle. They're like,
I mean,
oh, no, man, you're the guy. I'm like,
you literally got second.
I said, I'm pretty sure I did better in freestyle than like everyone. Like everyone who didn't place or anything.
I made the Fargo finals, buddy.
Or whatever the case was. Like juniors, all that, junior trials. It was like, I'm still okay.
How cool was it to make both finals? Like,
the only year I made both, actually, I got that wrong. I lost both to Casio. Yeah, so that sucked.
Your dad's told me that story.
Okay, I'm sorry to bring this up, but was that the year when you lost with like 1 second left?
Yeah, that's funny.
It was. Have you seen that?
His dad told me about it.
Oh,
there was.
Dude, I wanted to cry when I saw that.
You know what sucks about it? The only thing that made me mad was freestyle. I lost legit. I lost by like 1 or 2. And then this was freestyle first, Greco second. I think that was the first year they did it, or second year. But anyways, it was the last match of the entire tournament, so Greco heavyweight. And I wrestled, I thought I had a really, really good match. Like I scored early and I was winning. And then with, like as time expired, he like did like a double over and I landed like on my knees.
Yes.
I got hit with a correct throw.
It was not points,
throw.
I swear.
I don't know if it was correct throw 2 then or whatever it was.
Not points.
But I lost. Well, flash forward like 2-3 months, the rule gets axed. They got rid of the correct throw like 2, whatever it was. So I was like,
it was because of your match.
I wish. No, who knows?
Like, was it literally, I swear, and I could maybe be exaggerating this, but I swear it was like a restart with like 4 seconds left. And he just does something.
Yeah, it was just like a double over, like flipper, and
like
I just like bounced on my knees, like facing. It'd be like I'm facing Andrew here on my knees, like not touching.
Yeah.
And they're like correct throw. I'm like, what? What the?
Yeah.
I remember, like,
that is so frustrating.
And of course, the tournaments like where I live, I just remember like podium, get in my car, and I was just like driving like super fast, just like I was just pissed off. I was like, I don't even know what just happened.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I thought I wrestled really freaking good.
Right.
And like, you know, it's funny you talk about wrestling. Like, you could probably put out, there's matches in your life that you lost where you're like, wow, I think I wrestled almost the best I've ever wrestled in that match.
Yes.
Type of thing.
Right.
And then you have matches you win, you're like, I was horrible.
Yeah.
You're almost pissed off at yourself, even though you won, but you wrestled like crap. You're like, what the hell?
That was one of those where I was like, I just was, because I think he had beaten me. Well, obviously he beat me in freestyle, but I think he beat me like pretty good in Vegas or something, like in April. Like, so that was like the
before
juniors.
that.
Yeah. So like I was like, you know, I felt good about like where I was, like training cycle sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember that match. That was unbelievable. But yeah, we should back up a little bit, going into like your 7th grade year. Because did you wrestle varsity 7th grade?
No, I was
8th, right?
7th grade. I was 182. I was Preston Lehman's backup.
That's right.
It was kind of a sweet deal.
Yes.
I feel like I was his 182 backup as a big kid.
What year did Preston Lehman wrestle Logan Storley?
That would have been, I don't know like the year, but
how old was he?
He was only like a freshman, sophomore.
Oh, really?
And that was when he was.
And Storley was a senior?
Yeah, and he was like undefeated.
Yeah. Any of you guys ever seen that before? So Logan Storley was a 6-time South Dakota state champ.
Was he 6?
6
I know he was a lot.
6-time. Only one ever in South Dakota. And he went on to All-American for Minnesota.
I believe he was a 4-time.
Yeah, he was good.
Holy
he was so
smokes.
good. So he was on like the longest win streak in the country, like 250
Holy shit.
in a row. And it's his senior year, and everybody's just like, well, he's just gonna, finish up here. And so they're at this little tournament.
Lee Wolf.
Yeah, Aberdeen. They're in this little tournament, and Storley's up by 14 points against Preston Lehman.
Yeah, 14 exactly.
Yep. Because the announcer's like, one more takedown, should be a tech fall here. And then he takes a bad shot, and Lehman goes snake, snaps him down, cement mixers him, and sticks him in front of everybody. He gets up, and he's just like,
yeah, that was like
it was crazy.
The match.
Yeah.
It was at like a random tournament too.
It was like an average like South Dakota like in season high school tournament. Like he's about to get. Oh, it was the finals.
Yeah.
So he's about to get the tech and just cement job. It's so funny is because the guy that was like his best move. Like he still did it years later. But
Yes.
hitting it on that guy.
It was beautiful. I'll show you guys before we leave.
Yeah, that's
but
one of those.
Yeah.
One of those ones.
All right, but back to it. So 7th grade, you're behind Lehman, and then 8th grade. Where do we go from there?
8th grade, I was 200 pounds.
Yep.
And I couldn't beat the starting 220.
Okay.
At West Fargo High. So we didn't really have that heavyweight. So I was like, I can go heavyweight. So I was the heavyweight in 8th grade at 200 pounds, and I was just getting, I like to call it, like pubertied. Like these 17, 18-year-old guys were just like too big for me. Like they're like, I had probably 20 times the technique, knowledge, all this stuff, but it made zero difference when I can't like physically do the stuff to them.
Right.
I mean, 60 pounds is such a weight. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 60, 80 sometimes.
Yeah.
And just like being a little kid.
Yeah.
Right.
And I had like either like a 500 or a slightly below 500 record. And so in each region, it was top 8 goes to state. I got 7th at regions, and then I got 6th at state.
No way.
I was able to like sneak some crazy matches.
That's a hell of a year, honestly.
Oh yeah, 8th grade, 200-pound heavyweight. I was coming off a little bit of a high for me. I was sneaking guys. I was basically like outwitting them.
Right.
I wasn't doing any.
Yeah, I mean that's what you had to do.
I wasn't overpowering anyone by any means.
Sure. So did that 220? How good did he do that year?
I think he ended up going like 3rd or 5th in that like middle range of the placement.
Okay.
And maybe obviously I don't care. Maybe I beat him by the end of the year. I have no idea. Like, it wasn't something that was really on my mind. I just wrestled.
It was just yeah.
Yeah.
You guys only wrestled off once.
I think we wrestled off beginning of the year. He kind of beat me up, and I was like, shoot.
Yeah.
I was like, I can go heavyweight, I guess. That was kind of how it worked out. I'm like, I want to be varsity, right? Like every kid wants to be varsity.
Yep.
And it was like a good team. Actually, so did you guys know North Dakota gets alternates at the state tournament? I don't know if they still do or not.
They do.
You get 3 alternates, so you can have a double up like at a weight
For your school.
Yeah.
Only Class A. Only Class A
Yes.
lets you do
So
that.
you could take 2 kids at a weight?
Yep.
Yeah, but it was only it was 3 alternates, so you could have 3 weights with an extra guy. We placed, and there was 14 weights then. We placed all 17.
No way.
Yeah, that was the record. That was the first time it had ever been done.
Wow.
I'd never heard of that. So you guys had to have won state that year, right?
Yes, and I was like probably I would like to say the least likely to
Place.
have made the podium, considering I'm a 7th place region guy.
So
Yeah.
why didn't you go 222? Did you not want to, or?
No, you can only score. One can only score points.
Oh.
Yeah, the second guy can't score.
Yeah.
We had like that team, it's weird to say, like West Fargo, North Dakota, I think that team was like a top 30, 35-ish team in the country.
Oh, wow.
We had a few move-ins. I'll be honest, like there was some gaming there.
You need them.
They changed the transfer rules because of West Fargo wrestling.
In Fargo they did, not Bismarck.
No, that one's a little different with
the open
enrollment. But they changed like the North Dakota transfer rule where you have to have an address. Like a physical address.
Sure.
Yeah. So that was like a top 30, 35 team like in the country. Like any ranking site would have had us in there. So it was just cool to like say I was on that team.
How many champs did you have that year?
I couldn't tell you that number, to be honest.
Probably
It was probably a good amount. Yeah. But I was going to say something that was funny about that team is we had a guy who was like a 3-timer when he was like younger, like 7th, 8th, 9th, or like 8th, 9th. He was the second guy. Wait.
Wow.
He was like the alternate 152.
What was that guy's name?
What happened?
That was Angelo Shepard.
Yes, dude, that guy. What happened?
Yeah, he was good. I think he was a rodeo guy.
Oh, okay. I mean, he was always pretty good, but
he was tough.
The first if you win the first 3 state titles, you're thinking this kid's gonna win 6.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I think he just had different
goals in life.
Yeah, expectations for his life, and it wasn't like the guy that was ahead of the other guy was like the runner-up, I think, or was like a third. So it was just funny, like. Holy cow, we got a 3-time champ as our alternate on this team.
Yeah.
I think that was how it worked out. I mean, we're quoting me from 8th grade here.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that guy.
And one of them had to be an alternate.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Is 5 the record of state titles in North Dakota?
1 has won 6.
Yep, there's a 6-timer. His name is Jordan. He was on my team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Yeah, now he's going to be a doctor.
Oh, smart dude then.
Dude's
I think he graduated early from Nebraska. He went to Nebraska, and then he did med school here. His little brother was my age. We were teammates at NDSU.
Did he do anything at Nebraska? Or?
I think he was like, honestly, the best guy to talk to, Purinton, right? New coach.
Oh, yeah.
He would have been there at the same time. I think Jordan was kind of like in and out. I think he was a starters last year, but just super. I think they called him like automatic or something. Like, dude won 6 state titles, like always takes care of his business, like super professional. And then it's like, of course he goes to med school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, of course the only 6-timer.
That's insane.
Like does the career, like, so what's going perfect in like high school wrestling? 6 times. What would the equivalent of that be for like career outlook? I would say going to med school and being a doctor.
Yeah, you're like doctor, lawyer.
Like the equivalent.
Yeah.
And he's truly like been the best at like both of his arenas.
Wow.
And I mean, it was so interesting too because this dude, you know, like when people win that many state titles, usually they hit like some cool celebration. This guy just gets his hand raised and like smiles. And he's
he
right
did the
off.
6th on a torn ACL.
Wow.
Yeah, he tore it like pretty early in the year, and it was
Really?
like. Yeah, it was one of those deals. It was like definitely could like do the surgery and, you know, go to college, miss my first whatever it is. But he's like, nah, I want 6.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had a giant brace. If you like go back and look at the pictures.
So is that dude like a perfectionist in life, just like everything else too? Like, I don't know, just like doing your dishes, just like everything.
He was really disciplined. Like you would always. Like, for instance, like in my youth club days, like our coaches didn't really show, it sounds really funny. I don't know if your clubs or anything were like this. Our coaches didn't show technique. They would have him and a partner. He would like verbalize it and the 2 kids would do it. And it was like perfect, it was super crisp and like it was the visual I needed. You know what I mean?
That's what I did or we did at
it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot better to have this like 16-year-old like really athletic kid with good technique to do it than the, you know,
good
dad,
point.
right?
Yeah.
It actually is smart.
Yeah, if
too.
you think about it, like it's going to look a lot more realistic, and me seeing you do the technique well is probably a little bit more like convincing for me than seeing my dad like show this high cross.
Yeah.
That doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
But then they can like stand there and talk through it too. That
Yes, and they're like, yeah, freeze here,
Yeah.
see where his hand's
Yeah.
at.
And-
Interesting stuff.
And usually the coach is gassed after they show it a couple
he was one of
times.
those guys. Shout out Jared Franick. He was another one who was like, Jared, come here and do the move. And I'm always watching. I'm like, yeah, I'm never getting picked to show him. Like some of these guys laugh. That was my joke to myself.
Yeah. Oh, that's
But I'm like,
good.
I don't want to do that anyway.
Yeah, we actually used to do that at our club too a little bit.
Really?
It
So maybe
makes
that's way more
sense.
common.
It
Yeah.
makes sense.
I think it's a good way to learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I don't know about the guy. If you're showing it, you learn so. Like, have you guys done camps and stuff like kids? Not really.
Yeah.
No. Have you?
I mean, I've definitely.
Have you like worked with like a teammate in the room, or when you were obviously when you're like a junior senior, did you have any like younger teammates that you're like walking them through stuff?
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. Like I always felt like personally when I was doing that stuff, I felt like I was like, wow, I really didn't think about.
Yeah.
Like you kind of like naturally like the teaching aspect like makes you like focus on the minute details even more.
Cause I used to help with the kids club back in my club, and it was like, yeah, you do like you gotta like wait, and then you gotta go through the move
Yeah.
yourself and stuff.
I think it makes you a better wrestler, to be honest, especially if you're doing it while you're like in a competitive state.
I would agree. Yeah.
100%.
All right, now you're moving 9th grade.
Or going slow here.
Coming up the ranks. How
9th grade,
Yeah.
freshman,
Yeah.
I did 285,
Yep.
and I only weighed like 220. Oddly enough, I could have went 220.
Yeah.
Lost in the state finals to just like a giant like senior. Like I did I went for a monkey roll, and he like straightened his leg, and I like pinned myself out of it. And then, you know, where are you at 9th grade, right? That's like prime time puberty development, right?
Yeah.
So we do like the spring stuff, and I think he wants to like walk on or something like D2 or D3 like college. Anyways,
For wrestling?
yeah, that guy did, and we're going to the same stuff. It wasn't more than like 2-3 weeks where I was able to just go like grab, bang, pin. And I'm like, really? Because you're just progressing so fast at that time.
Yeah.
Could
Physically.
have used that 2 weeks ago. You know?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? I think it was like a freestyle Greco tournament that was like a month and it was like the gladiators.
Yeah.
Like that's like a month and a half, 2 months after the state tournament.
Yeah.
And we were in the same bracket, and it was just a matter of bang. I'm like, really? Like,
Yeah.
that's dumb. But you're like,
that is kind of annoying.
I think that's what like fueled me, like put a little fire in you.
So then that year, did you do any summer wrestling?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I think every year from like 8th grade
Okay.
for like Fargo and stuff.
So you wrestled Fargo that year.
yeah.
So what was that? First year cadet probably?
Which no
Going
going in the 9th was my first year.
Okay, so then
It was my second year cadet.
Yeah. So
that
then
one, it was one Greco.
You
third
really?
freestyle.
wow. Holy crap. So that year you did not win a state title.
Yes.
And then you won Fargo Greco.
That's what I'm saying. It was one
Yeah.
of those deals where you're like
And took third in freestyle.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
lost to a PA boy.
Who was it?
I'm giving a lot of guys shout outs today. Anthony Piscopo was his name. He was kind of tough.
Yeah.
I think I beat him in Greco like in the early rounds. He beat me like second round of freestyle, so I had to do the classic like bump, 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 like all the way back.
Yeah.
How many?
Obviously, it was cadet 220, so I wasn't doing like a 14 piece, but it was like a 6 or 7
Right.
back to third.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where like men are made, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was just so pissed off to
Yeah.
lose this guy.
Yeah.
I think he ended up getting like 5th or something too. So
Right.
okay, it wasn't like he was that bad. But
Yeah. See, I just did what you said everybody does too. As you said, I won Greco, got third freestyle, and I just said one Greco, and you still got third freestyle. Like, that's still pretty
you
good.
were thinking.
Yeah, like I just bypassed the fact that you got third freestyle, but
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
yeah.
It's really easy when someone's like, oh, he's always won this, this, and this.
Right.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm moving into sophomore,
Yep.
285 now.
No,
Getting
then
big.
it was weird. I went
What?
sophomore. I did 220.
Oh.
I didn't cut by any means. If I said cut, people got a hold of this clip, I would get over the flames. I was probably like 235,
Sure.
and I like made my way down to 220 and
Yep.
maintained it. And I actually had to wrestle he was good. He was a Valley City guy. He was a year.
Oh, yeah. Magnuson?
Jordan Magnuson. He was
Yeah.
like a qualifier at MSUM.
Yeah. He's
And,
tough.
Like, that's not an easy or hard or easy region to qualify.
He's
at
athletic.
nationals. Yeah, so he was good. So that was my finals match, and that was my last. And then I went up. And I never left.
Yeah. So then
I haven't seen 220. I'll tell you guys that much.
Sure. So then that summer, what does Fargo look like? First year junior, probably?
I had some that at this time I was really into like.
So did you go
football,
heavy?
wrestling.
Did you go heavyweight then?
Yep, I went heavyweight. I
Fargo?
was probably like 240,
Sure.
50, whatever it was, and I think I went like 3-2 or 2-2 both styles.
Sure.
So that's like that. Because I'm a November birthday, so you're kind of on that younger end.
Yep.
So like I
Tough
was
year.
going into junior year. Most of the guys are senior graduates or going into senior year.
Yep.
There's just another level of that
There
maturity
is.
that I didn't have. Well,
For
obviously
sure.
your phenoms are your exception, but I wasn't
Yep. Right.
at that time.
So then junior year, now you go up to heavyweight.
Yeah, or I went back to heavyweight right after probably
Right.
sophomore. Yeah.
Yep. So then killing everybody now, right?
Decent. I would say like that was when I was really kind of finding my groove. So that's ironic we're talking about NDSU and stuff. So I started training 16 spring or sophomore spring is when I was
Going into junior or going into sophomore?
sophomore spring going into juniors when I
Yep.
started in the NDSU room.
Sure.
And that was like I'm wrestling the starter, the backup, the 97. Hayden Zilmer was still sticking around training. Like I got to practice with him.
Yep.
And funny story about him, I was like 16 and I think he was just coming off his college career. So he had just finished up, but he still wanted to wrestle. And we did like 2 live matches. We did like a live match for each style. And this will go back to the cliche Greco thing. We did a Greco match. This is how I remember it. Maybe he remembers it a different version. I like to remember it as we did a Greco match, and it was like, and I'm 16, right? I'm only 16 years old, and he's a competitive mofo.
Yeah.
Like
He's like 24.
obviously,
at this point.
he's that, but obviously, like like he's still going
He
for
wants to
world
win.
team. Like he wants to beat the shit out of you, and he's the nicest guy ever, by the way.
Yeah.
But he wants to kill you when he's wrestling. So we did Greco first match. This is when I'm 16 years old, like spring sophomore, and we I'm kind of like I said, like savvy. Like I sneak like a dumb like roll through like thing like that. I think it was like I want to say it was like a tied match, like 4-4, 5-5 in my head. That's my scoring, right?
Yeah.
So then we come back. We're gonna do a freestyle match. It was like shake hands, wham, hard collar, like blowing me out of the way, just tossing me around. I'm like, holy shit, what is going on right now? I'm getting my ass beat by this grown man who's really good. Because I was like feeling myself, like, man, we just pushed him really hard in that Greco match. And he was just found another gear. I'm like, well, obviously. And guess what? I was bigger than him too. This was pre his like heavyweight descent.
Yeah.
Like this was when he was only probably like 200 pounds. I was probably all of like 230, 235. He just started smashing me. I was like, yeah, he's good. Or I made him mad type of thing.
Yeah.
He was probably pissed
That was
off.
fun. You know where that was? Do you guys know where we used to train?
Wasn't it over by like the Walgreens?
Yeah,
or
the
something?
CVS.
Yeah,
The next door was a grocery store. That was when the Shack was getting. We were in the what's it called? The freezer.
Yeah,
Where the
the
freezer
back?
is where the wrestling room was.
Yeah, that was the dungeon.
Yeah,
back in
and
the
that's
day.
me, 16, just boom, boom, boom. I'm like, wow, he is killing me. And I can't do anything about it. Great story. And such a super sweet dude.
Yeah.
Which makes it even funnier that he like turns into like a stone cold killer when he like shakes hands.
Yeah.
You gotta have that switch.
Yeah,
Oh,
you do.
he has it.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
the best part.
Right. Yes. So then junior year, what's the summer look like? What year was it when you guys had a damn good junior dual team? Was that year?
I actually, the Team ND guys, if any of them listen, they'll probably get pissed. I skipped junior duels a couple times.
Oh.
I was really hitting football hard.
Sure.
So that was like that prime time, like football camp season. So
Yeah.
I only did junior duels. I did it the 9th going into sophomore, and I did it the senior going into college. That was a really good team.
Was that the year you guys got 7th?
I don't know if I think they might have did better the year before, or we like
Okay.
did the same. They had a couple Montana defects.
Oh,
on the
that's
team.
right. Got Weber on the
Couple
squad.
Weber
right?
and
Yeah.
some other guy.
Sure. Yeah. And then wasn't there some story like Askren came over and was like, this kid's not even North Dakota kid or something
I've heard that.
Oh, okay.
That they were because
Yeah.
it was like a really there was like 2 really good Montana guys that were like they were probably like 6-1 or 6-2 in both styles.
Yeah. So
mixed with like a bunch of like that was a time when there was like probably like 6 or 7 pretty good
Yeah, there
North
was.
Dakota
So,
guys.
how'd you do in football these years? We're talking about wrestling. How were like football? Can you do football 7th grade year?
In like high
Varsity?
school?
Varsity?
No.
Or it's just-
I was middle school, and then I did like the 9th grade team. They brought us up at the end of 9th grade.
Yeah, I don't know if it was different. Like wrestling.
No, it was my school at the time. This was,
You technically can.
you can not.
If-
My school was pretty big, so they weren't
Yeah.
exactly let
Yeah,
me 7th
football.
grade.
Football's a little different
Yeah,
too.
and,
'cause
and
wrestling-
if you're a small town, it's a little different
Yeah.
too. Where
Yeah, I
like
guess.
sometimes you will see it once in a while, but
'Cause
like
they probably need
West
some guys.
exactly.
Yeah.
But like West Fargo, they got some horses.
Football was fun because I got to do. It was like just small enough, or like not bad enough, just like the level. So like I got to play O-line, D-line, kicker, punter, but like at a big school. Like I was doing all this stuff. It was so fun.
Yeah,
That's how
like-
it was when I played football.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
played
That was
kick off, kick return, punt return, middle linebacker, offense.
yeah.
I think that was
team.
so fun. And like the guys, like you basically grow up with these group of like 15, 20
Yeah.
dudes in your grade. And it's just like, this is my crew. Like,
Uh-huh.
we're going to wreck shop.
Remember
Yeah.
from back in the day when you were little kids playing?
Oh, yeah.
all the
Like,
way
yeah.
up. You're
That's
like,
still,
wow.
that's the same stuff. So like when I was getting into high school, West Fargo, the school I went to, we would always got predominantly stomped by like Bismarck High, maybe like South was decent then, and Davies a little bit. And like, I don't know, maybe I was naive or whatever it was. I'm like, screw these guys. I'm like, these guys freaking suck. Like, we're going to kill them. Like that's just how I thought.
Yeah.
Because like when you're wrestling and you're beating up like every dude across the
Yeah.
state and you're the heavyweight, right? You're like,
Nobody's
there ain't no
touching
random
me.
dude from some school in North Dakota that's gonna like football wrestling. You're like in your mind, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
it's a battle, me and you. And I think there was a few of us that like thought that way, and it basically just kind of like spread virus. Like, and then we started playing those teams, and we started like smashing them, or it was like neck and neck because it was like just a switch of like. Because I remember when I was a 9th grader. They brought me and 2 other freshmen up to varsity, and it was just like the playoffs, and it was like the first round playoffs against Bismarck High.
And you played?
No,
Oh.
we were not bench warmers.
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
got to do like all the prep for
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the playoff week.
Right. Scout team.
We were just 9th grade football players the week
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
and they bring us up, and it's funny now because I'm 26 years old, but
Right.
like so when I was like 14, like my junior senior teammates. I'm gonna sound funny here. Oh my gosh, we got Bismarck High. They got so and so. They're gonna kill us.
Yeah.
And, like, me, like not cocky, but like thinking like, I'd kick that guy's ass. I'm like, what? It ain't tough. Like whatever that was. That was kind of funny.
Because
how
you
that
would
transitioned.
have. So
Yes,
it's like
but
you,
that's
you
just
just
how I
knew
thought.
in your
Like in
head.
that. So like when we were finally like my grade and like the grade right above me and right below me, when we were like the majority of the starters, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, Bismarck. It was like, this is a joke. Let's kill these guys.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
It's
And
great.
I like to think like that was.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Established.
sometimes you need just like mentality. I mean, you go in with the mentality that you're gonna win, you're gonna do it, you're gonna go in and do it.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy how it starts.
Same thing in wrestling,
Yeah.
right? Like you see, it's like I talk about, like your teammate, like Aiden Bernot, like he's just like, I told him like, which Diaz? I said, dude, like your comp is like a Diaz brother. Like that's your wrestling comp. Like you have to keep that level of just pure fight. Like I'm like,
Yes.
you're not super, like you're not crazy strong, you're not crazy fast, you're not super technical, but dude, you are just scrappy. Like
Yes.
you got to figure out how to bottle that up and just messes dudes up sometimes.
It
Like,
does. It's just like wild. It's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
so much just coming at
but
you.
like that's his like. I like to tell people like you got to find your superpower.
You do.
That's like his superpower
Yep.
type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so. When did you? Because you had to have been in between playing football and wrestling in college, right?
Yeah.
And then like junior year, that was probably like the big decision year, almost, right?
The summer going into my senior year, I had committed, thinking I was going to be able to do both. I committed to both.
Yep.
And then I had a conversation. I think it was like a winter or like before like signing. They're like, hey, actually, you can't do both. And then obviously at this time, NDSU was on like a 5 or a 6-peat.
in football. Right.
So that means they're playing till January 6th, 7th, or 3rd every single year, and it's like, well, you can't really wrestle from January 10th till March every year. Like, you're not gonna be able to be that guy. And wrestling was the one that like made the most like financial interest in me, like for supporting me for college. And I was a big like, Mom, Dad, you're not gonna have to pay a cent for like this. Like, I'm gonna do this because I'm the only person to like graduate from any college in my family. So I was like, I'm gonna do this thing. Like, so that was a hard choice. I really love both.
So was it always NDSU too, or was there ever any?
Oh yeah, I think you'd be hard pressed at NDSU to find anyone more like who was gonna be a Bison than me at an early age. Like for instance, growing up, my mom had it was called like FM Home, and it was like a pet sitting service, like where she went to your place and like took care of your animals like once or twice a day, right? She actually like had she was the president like of NDSU's growing up. Like she was like the pet service for him. Like, so growing up, I was like 6 years old. Like we'd go to the president's house and like let out his dogs and like feed his cats. So like I was just like innately like that was ingrained in me from a young age. Right. And then like always going to football, wrestling duels, all that stuff. So like I wasn't growing up being like I want to be this, or it wasn't like I want to be a professional football player. I want to be an Olympic wrestler, whatever, or I want to be a doctor. Like I want to be a Bison. You know what I mean? I want to be a Bison. It's kind of like how I thought. It's weird. So like I think that's why I care so much about all the athletes. Like I love all the kids and all the sports. I want them to be great.
Absolutely.
Like, I see a little bit of myself in them just being in this place, right? That I think is special.
North Dakota boy, right there. That's
it's pretty cliche.
Yeah.
What other colleges reached out, though, during the recruiting process? Because I'm assuming there's, like, a bunch of others that reached out.
For, like, wrestling, football?
For wrestling.
Well, wrestling, at that time, I committed pretty early. I mean, I had talked to, like, Arizona State, Nebraska, and then, like, South Dakota State, some of those regional colleges. Minnesota, they already had Gable, I think, locked up, like, the year before, so I wasn't exactly on the recruiting trail there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the same for you guys. Like, if you reach out to someone, if you're, like, at a certain level, like, if you're ranked at a certain rank and you reach out to a school, like, they'll bring you on for a little bit. I think at that time I could have went to, like, majority of the schools for a little bit of money, but very few schools are, like, willing to, like, fully financially support you.
We were talking about that the other day, how even, like, now the top 200 big boarders, if you're not like the upper echelon, getting a full scholarship is hard.
No, yeah, it's like
they don't,
it's non-existent.
Yeah,
for the most part
they hardly give it at all.
And I wasn't even like working in my job now and getting an idea of like how the finances work. So I basically, I mean, I don't know, I'll share this on the podcast, I don't care. I was like what I call a North Dakota full.
Yep.
So like I was X amount percent, like I wasn't, like, if I was from out of state, I wouldn't have been on a full ride. But because I was from from North Dakota, the in-state tuition, all that stuff was enough to pay for tuition and still get, like, monthly stipend and stuff like that.
Right.
Which, I mean, like, that's a perfect scenario. For a wrestler, you can't ask for much more than that if you're a wrestler. Like, it's tough out there.
It is.
And zero academic. I was not a star student.
That's funny.
What was your major in college?
Funny enough, you asked major. I started. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I went to college. I remember I did like my counseling meeting or like my academic meeting orientation. They're like, "So what do you want to do?" And I'm like, I don't know. I kind of just want to help people. I don't know where I pulled that out of. To help people. They put me in HDFS, social works, like human development, family science.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a very like honorable type of work. Like you are. I would say you're not. Maybe if you're like move up the ranks, you're like financed pretty well, but you're not making like you're not like doing great, and you're working like rehoming kid. You know what I mean? Like that type of work. Anyways,
tough job.
I started that, so they put me in that my first semester, and NDSU first semester HCFS, I get in a couple of those major classes. It's like 150, 200 people classes. like 5 guys. And I'm like looking around. I'm like, I can't even raise my hand in here. Like, I'm scared. Like, for the first time, I'm like, I am a minority in this room right now. I was like, and it has nothing to do with like the program or like the girls are in there. I was just like, geez, I'm in the wrong place. Right. Like, I don't really feel like in the right spot here. So I switched to sport management.
Yeah.
And not the most rigorous. I feel like I like got a good content knowledge out of it. But
right.
That was what I ended up going with.
Sure.
It was better than the HDFS for me. I don't know. It was like 18-year-old Brandon sitting in a room. It's like 150 people, 5 guys, and like most of the girls are like 20, 21, 22. I'm like, these are like grown women. I'm like little 18. I'm like, I'm like, this is not right. I'm like, I'm in the wrong spot.
Did you want to work at NDSU then, right after college? Was that your plan, or?
It worked out where my 5th year I started my master's degree. So obviously I redshirted, then competed for 4. So then I graduated in 4 undergrad. My 5th year I started my master's. Most master's programs are 2 years. And I got done with my 5th year wrestling, and I had to get a hip surgery. And I knew, I'm like, I didn't think I was going to wrestle the next year. I'm like, it just doesn't seem, it's like a hip impingement. It's like a six month recovery, all this stuff. So I'm like, I'm not going to wrestle. I'm like, man, I got to figure out how I'm going to pay for this. For the first time in my life, I didn't have a plan how to pay for this school that I had started. So I was like, and then our athletic academic advisor at that time for wrestling, she's like, hey, she reached out, hey, do you want to do this job? So I ended up, I don't know if you guys met with either a full-time, do you guys have a GA for your meetings, or do you guys have meetings?
Yeah, ours was is that what it's called, a GA? Like
a graduate assistant, yeah.
That's
Shoot, what was his name that I had?
You had Josh.
Josh.
Shout out Josh.
Josh was a good dude.
Yeah.
I did that year because I was like, I needed to figure out a way to pay for this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't just like not finish this. So
I
did that, and then that whole I started wrestling again that spring, and I was jobless. So I competed. I was trying to make a national team for Greco, but the whole time I was like from like March, April till August, I was like applying for jobs, just like different sectors, random things. And then I coached Team North Dakota that summer. Got to coach Bowdoin.
Yeah,
that was
awesome.
Really fun. That was sweet.
That was so fun.
So that whole time I'm just trying to find a job. my wife, she'd already been working full time at Shields corporate office for like a year, and she's like, we're still splitting like the rent halfway, and I'm like, I am a loser. I'm taking like my little checks from Coach Melmer for like Team ND and like half of the rent. I'm like, wow, I am not doing it right now. So then the end of the summer, Kelly, our boss, or my boss in academics, if you know her, she's a older lady with the glasses. She's like, she reached out to me and we talked about it, and the job opened up. It was like the student development and then obviously the academic job. And I was like, I need a job. So I'm like, shoot, let's do it. So that's how I've been so far for his career goes. And sometimes you don't really like know like how you're gonna end up in a spot, to be honest with you. Like that was one of those deals like people say, I think at that time maybe it's changed. I think people are still, you see the internet, people complain about how hard it is to get jobs right now.
Oh my goodness.
But you see it like all over, right?
Yeah.
And but at that time I'm like applying to stuff, and I'm like, geez, I'm really not finding anything.
Yeah.
I'm splitting the rent. I'm like, this is not good.
I need something here.
I don't know. I'm not exactly the alpha male right now. Like thinking that process.
Do you see yourself doing this though for like a really long time?
I don't really see myself leaving NDSU athletics, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I really like what I'm doing. I think as like the time goes on, I keep getting a little more like leadership opportunities like within, and that's kind of like what I like to do right now. So right now I'm just kind of like working as hard as I can and seeing where that takes me.
Right.
And I don't want to leave. Like I'm not like sitting here like I need to leave NDSU.
Yeah.
Nothing like that at all. It's like this is where I want to be, but obviously it's like I'm in a role. I'm in a very good I'm in a good role for like where I'm at in my life right this second, if that makes sense. But I'm like also willing to admit I don't have the experience to be like a top dog, right? Like I'm not running the show by any means.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say this, like, maybe you didn't plan to end, or I shouldn't say end, but be where you are right now. But I feel like your personality and just the way that you go about things, where you are at, fits you very well. And I think you do a good job at what you do, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny. Like, I go back to my orientation where I told the person I want to help people.
Yeah, exactly.
And in a way, I'm helping people, and I'm taking like what's like one of my greatest passions in my life, NDSU athletics. I basically sandwiched the two in a roundabout way. Ended up happening.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works out. Awesome. Yeah,
it wasn't like I'm going to work in academics after I'm done. I did not think that. Like, most people wouldn't say that's like what they were thinking.
Right. Yeah.
So your plan is to just keep climbing the ladder, kind of like.
I don't know if I'm not sitting here like I'm ready for this X promotion or job. I think it's more so just like, because we're in a weird time in college athletics right now. Yeah, things are so fluid. I think the best thing I can do for myself is just like work hard and try and like develop like skills and knowledge and relationships. Like I met with a guy yesterday from Financial Institute. We were talking because he wants to like get student athletes for like interns or potential like full-time staff in the future. And I told him, one of the coolest things about my job, like just me, it's weird. I'm like one of the only people in the shack that interacts with like every single student athlete. I don't know if you guys have, Bowden might with the SAC stuff.
Yeah.
Like almost all the lifting coaches only work with their teams.
Yes.
Almost all of the trainers only work with their teams.
Yeah.
The admin, admin or senior staff, they all have like a team. They kind of intermingle, but like I'm in a weird position where I'm like, I get to make a relationship with just about every kid to a degree.
It's pretty cool.
Through like the athletic credit and stuff. I'm like,
sure.
I never thought about it until one day I was like, geez, I'm like one of the only people that like talks to like every sport.
Yeah. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
No, and I love it because it's weird. I know I don't know, maybe one of you guys are this way. Some wrestlers are this way. They're like, oh, it's just wrestling. I like wrestling. Screw football, screw basketball. Like some people have that attitude.
Yeah.
It's fine if you do, like obviously have your opinions and how you think.
Right.
I'm like very much the opposite. I'm like, dude, that's so sweet. Like this golfer's so good, and like golf's like one of my hobbies. Like I like golf. I'm like, dude, you're so good. Like I wish you could like teach me. Or like basketball. Like I'm like, dude, that's sweet. Like that guy's a beast. Or she's killing it type of thing. Like track. I'm like, wow, I can't believe. So like when I was coming through NDSU, there was a shot put thrower. Going on a tangent here, but his name was Peyton Otterdahl. I mean, he's a two-time Olympian now.
Damn.
And I got to watch him train, and he wrestled like in high school, like moderately, but he came to NDSU. He was a national champion, like indoor shot put, national champion from NDSU. Like when you
big
say
dogs.
Like the whole all division or whatever, or all D1, right? And I got to see like a guy like that, and I was thinking about it the other day. I actually have a shirt of his. I wore it for the 4th because it's like red, white, USA. I wore it for the 4th. And I was thinking about it because track is just like wrestling, you guys, where it's, like there's no professional.
Yeah.
There's like a few guys that get to go like
to the Olympics.
You have
or get to wrestle.
It's
not like, and this guy, like I think he has like a PE degree, but all he wants to do is like throw shot put like the best he can. And he's still doing it. And he's a few years older than me. And I'm like, dude, that is so honorable. Like you are just working at your craft in like a very like in a thing that you're not getting. Like I view it as the same thing as wrestling. Like I very much could have like I was decent. I was like a top 4 or 5-ish guy at my weight for like the senior circuit for Greco.
Right.
And I could still go to tournaments and try and scrape my way up to that top 3-4 margin, but I just don't because I'm like that doesn't help me, my wife and my kid, or develop my life.
Yeah.
But like in Otterdahl's case, like he just grinded, and guy's a 2-time Olympian now.
Yeah.
I'm like that's so like I'm proud to like say like I was at NDSU the same time as this guy and like watched him work. And I'm like, that's how it is.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch people who are good at something.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Whatever sport, it doesn't even matter. It can
yeah.
be anything. It's so fun to watch someone who's just good and has just worked so hard to get where they are, and it's it's cool to watch them.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with you guys. Like people, I don't know like what you guys think in your own sense, like with the team. Sometimes wrestlers, we get in this box where like, we're the wrestlers, like screw all the other sports, like everyone hates us type of thing, right? But what you guys don't realize is like when the wrestlers are like doing good and like winning big matches or like making the podium, like everyone does know, like that random like track or basketball kid, like dude, you are like they know, like they respect it too. Like everyone kind of like has that same brotherhood about it.
Absolutely.
So it's weird that you actually brought up like how we like think like wrestling's the hardest sport, and we kind of like almost don't give enough respect to like other sports.
Yeah.
So another,
wrestling is the hardest.
yeah. Well, like other sports
I
are still
gotcha.
other sports are still like
I don't know,
tough.
man. Golf is pretty freaking.
Yeah. Okay. So
Well, it depends what we're talking.
It's,
So-
it's
difficult.
It's a warfare.
let me go back on
got
that.
you.
So with golf, growing up, I see golf, this and that. High school, I see golf. I'm like, dude, this is freaking easy. Just freaking hit a ball at the hole. And I come to college, golf for the first time, and then now I've been golfing like weekly.
Yeah.
Now I fucking suck.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It is so hard.
It's hard.
It is
like
tough.
the other
Oh
day.
yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
I love actually it's my favorite hobby, and
It is fun.
I want to do it as much as humanly possible within
Yeah.
reason. Like I talked to my wife and like, hey, can I like try to figure out a little balance, right?
Yeah.
And I played last week 4th of July morning. Like I'm a guy who wants to play like multiple times a week if I can, but I was playing. I've just been in a slump, like getting off the tee. And
me too.
I was like, I was doing awful. I'm being honest with you guys. And I looked at my brother-in-law and I said, and this is, I want to play as much as I can, right? And I said, if you told me I had to put my clubs away until next spring, I'd say yeah. I would say you're right. Yeah. Like, I think it's time because I was just that mad. And I like to think I'm a person who's my favorite thing about sport, like athletics. I love like the mental strength in sport. I love like having the mindset and like figuring stuff out. And I even know some of those like tricks and all that. And it doesn't matter. I'm out there, I'm screwing up on the course and I'm losing. I'm like, dude, I should be like most prepared for these type of moments.
I mean, like the other day I went golfing and like we had a bet going and I was like, it was frustrating. I tried to hold my composure and I just snapped and I broke my club.
No way.
I was just like, I broke it.
You broke a club.
Oh, I guess I didn't hear that.
What club?
My P wedge.
Dude.
Yeah, I was pissed.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
They lost a pair of NDSU wrestling shorts.
Yeah.
You really snapped the club.
Yeah. It wasn't hard. It just, I was pissed.
You know, I was mad. You gotta be able to, you can't go that level.
Well, I was like, and then I had to hold
I get
back.
it.
And then I was
I
like,
get
and then I just freaking snapped.
Would you ever throw your headgear?
Not in front of anyone. I mean,
Oh,
there's a lot of times where I lose and I go into like a back corner stairwell, whatever, and I just throw like a big fit a lot of times. I fucking smash my head again. I'm just like punching the
Really?
wall, like, and then I take like 10 minutes, and then I'm just like, just like pissing myself, cussing myself out, whatever, just like getting all pissed off and just like fire it up, and then take deep breaths and then go outside. Cause I just don't want anyone to see that.
I got you.
And then,
You still have that, like, oh, really?
oh
He
yeah.
gets fired up.
That's an energy.
He gets fired. If you piss him off,
You know, I'm
you know.
glad that, like, feel that way when you're losing because there was a point in my career where I was, like, banged up and not doing as well as I could, like, thought I could, and I'd lose, and you'd be like, man, that sucks. Like, and I would just, like, flush it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, maybe I should, like, be more upset about this
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
But you don't,
See,
no one tells you how to feel in those moments.
Yeah.
That's more the way I roll. Like Cody saying that makes me think like that's not at all what I like. When I lose, I just kind of like somber walk and just think to myself, "What the fuck was I doing?"
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
kind of how I react to it.
I'm a
I
little
guess.
crazy in the head sometimes. Yeah.
Losing sucks.
Yeah,
Don't get me
it
wrong.
does suck.
It's
Losing sucks.
when you put so much time, effort, energy, and focus into something.
God. Damn it sucks.
All for 7 minutes, and then you go out there.
You don't
and
gotta.
lose.
I would say I've lost most of this table, so you don't gotta tell me how to lose.
Well, here's a story, I guess you could say that one of my things. So I lost a match at the Open, and then I think when I was like out, like way earlier than I was just like thinking, like, cause like the year before that I made it deep, and I actually lost to a good dude, and I was like, okay, you know, wrestled tough, blah, blah, blah. And then this year, didn't necessarily wrestle to my best. And then after one of my matches, I just went outside and just, like, ran far. I don't know how far I ran. I was just like, what? I was just, like, fucking pissed off, just running.
You know what's funny is one time a girl, like, hurt my feelings. Talking, like, high school here. She, like, you know, got, like, I liked the girl, and I think I remember I was on vacation in Arizona. My friend Jamal would love this story. I just went outside, and I started running. There was, like, a golf course, and I was running. Because I was so upset.
Yeah.
I just ran. And then I came back, and my mom and dad were like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
It's honestly a good coping mechanism, though. Just
but I am not a runner. I don't know what I was thinking that
Me
day.
neither. I'm not a runner either.
Get on that golf course. Run.
No, that is good.
There's times where I also just, like, rip out a bunch of push-ups, like, you fucking pussy, and just start just
Really?
like fucking ripping push-ups.
This guy.
Is that something that you, like, would like to change, or are you like, I want to keep this? Like,
I don't know. I mean,
It just
it's just kind of like how I am, I guess. Like, it's just like,
I was just curious.
but like, if you ask anyone, I never like throw a fit in front of anyone. Like, I just like, if I lose and it's like I'm just like pissed off inside. I just like keep a straight face, walk. Once I'm like away from everyone, then I just start running and then go to a lone spot.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I'm more of a just like sit there and think to myself like, boom, like what the hell was I doing? Like, oh my, that freaking sucks so bad. All that freaking work. I'm not like that.
I mean, there was another time actually at the U Clear tournament. The one
Yeah,
that
you're pretty fired up that tournament. Holy crap!
So after that,
pissed.
I just like I ran downstairs into a corner and ripped a bunch of push-ups out.
I'm pretty sure you
That's
lost to the
good.
kid who won it. So
No, he got second.
oh, sorry.
But like still, I should have. He was.
it was a close match.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just like I didn't wrestle like how I should though. It was just like
Made you go.
yeah. That stuff pisses me off. But I never like. I don't think I've ever done that. Like after I lost and I feel like I wrestled good. Like you know when you have those like the matches you were talking about where you feel like you wrestled your best, but he just out wrestled you and you're just like, well, I wrestled tough. You know, I can live with that. And then I just sit in the stand and I'm just like, well.
I think you are three guys who like really do a conscious effort of like doing things the right way, like living the lifestyle, like nutrition, like relationships, like how you carry yourselves. And I think just doing that and then the hard work with it, sounds weird. It makes losing a lot easier. It sounds weird.
Yeah.
But like when you're doing the things the right way and you're like trying your best and you know you're like taking the active step forward to like do it right and you lose, you're like, you know what? That sucked. But that guy was better than me in that moment. If that makes sense.
That's a good
Versus
point.
like I'm not living the lifestyle and I lose and I get pissed off and I'm like, you know, like if there was a camera pointing at you or if you're watching yourself like third person, you'd be like, dude, you stay up late, you eat trash, or you and your girlfriend break up every 3 weeks and you like can't control your mental, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I need in my life.
No, you what? No, you don't.
I didn't mean it like that.
That's funny.
We're talking just doing the right thing.
Yeah.
The results take care of themselves.
For
It's
sure.
it's a lot easier to prepare for a match too when like you know you've done all the right.
Yes.
You can like go out there and feel free because you're like, yeah, I've eaten right, I've slept right all like this whole year. I'm doing everything I need to be, training hard, and you're like, let's just go out here, be free, and have some fun.
It's actually my mindset before matches.
Yeah.
I
That's
tell
great.
myself that.
That's what I like. I try to push that on student athletes as much as I possibly can. I don't care what sport it is. I don't care. Keep talking golf, soccer, track, wrestling, football, whatever it is. I said I don't care. It's like, dude, like do everything in your power to the best of your ability in your time here, and like the results are the results. And I always talk about this all the time. I don't know why I always talk about it, but like wrestling, like I used to deal with some like match anxiety, like pre-match anxiety, like, oh my gosh, what's my coach gonna think? What's my parents gonna think if I lose? Or like, I can't lose type of thing. And that was how I thought, and it made me like just mentally like I was like, oh my god, I used to throw up all the time because like that's how it made me feel. I would get so stressed and anxious about it, and then So like after I finished college wrestling, I had surgery and I took like almost a year off, and I did the Greco, like the senior circuit that spring, and it was like, it sounds weird, funny. I was like paying for my trip to Vegas, like NDSU and MSU, they like helped support a little bit, but like I was paying for my room, I was like paying for some of this stuff, like my travel, and like I was training on my own, and it made me so like, it was such a weird experience because you gotta understand, I went 4 years old to 23 years old, like all I was doing was like eat, sleep, train, wrestling, and it developed in that way where I had all that stress on me, right? So then I basically hung up the shoes, and then like a year later I came back to compete, and I was doing it because I wanted to do it, and I was doing the things in the process like how I wanted to do it the best of my ability. It's crazy. I wasn't stressed. I wasn't stressed at all. I wasn't throwing up before matches. Wow. I was using some of the stuff I was like learning, like mental strength sports stuff, where it's like I like had a mantra for myself where I was like, nobody gives a shit, results don't matter. And that was like my thing that made me kind of like flush. And I try to encourage everyone, like, dude, you got to have a mantra. You got to have a thing that like makes you forget results type of thing. And I'm like, you look back on it, like, damn, I wish I would have had. You can't, but like that's why I have it now. It's because like I thought about it after the fact. Like if I was in your guys' shoes, like I used to be a practice room guy where it's I cannot lose this live go. Yep. Even if it meant I'm shooting once in a 7-minute match.
Joe Gamiller talked about that a lot too. He said that's how he was too.
We all did it.
Yeah.
I don't know too many guys who didn't do it.
Yep.
Yeah, I do it too.
I do it.
I could not. There's this little like wall in your head that you have to like, this ego in your head that you have to like break, that tells you it's okay for me to get tired and like get taken down or like not finish my shot because I'm like trying to like do the right thing in practice. And I wish I would have had that earlier, like that wall of just like, I gotta break this type of thing.
So
and that's life too. That's school. That's relationships. Like, I don't know how many like times in school where you're like procrastinating this, where you could have just maybe done a little bit early in the week and it would have been super easy. Or relationship, maybe you and so are kind of like butting heads, and it's like, I really could have just talked to this person like a week ago and we would have saw eye to eye on this, and it probably would have been fine. But I let it brew.
Yeah. It's so interesting, like you say that with wrestling, like how you're in the wrestling room like that. My way lately, it seems like, and maybe I probably started doing this like in the summer, with coping with that is, I don't know if this is good or bad, but I don't like to wrestle guys in my weight, or just like, just because I feel like, okay, if I wrestle Drexler, who I know is not my weight, it doesn't really matter. Or if I wrestle Bruno or whoever, just because I feel like wrestling the guy who I think I'm going to compete with to be the spot, like, I just tried so hard, like, and it's stiff.
No, you're exactly right. Like, I had this situation where I came in, I had a pretty good heavyweight that was older, like, the starter when I, like, my redshirt year, and, like, I got to be the starter his last year of school, and it wasn't like I was beating the crap out of him. Like, it was a war. So I'm like, I cannot lose this live go. Like, I don't think I would ever lost my starting spot if I would have just said, screw this, like, go for the shot, go for this, like, setup, like, who cares if you get tired type of thing. And, like, you gotta figure out a way to, like, let it go, because you gotta know, like, the process is gonna make you so much better.
You're right.
Like, it's so funny, like, if you look at I always say, I look at the national tournament, like, you can use Drexler, for instance, or like Drogamiller one year was like really good at the end of the year. Like, you look at, like, people have like their peaks and valleys. If you start keeping track in your head, you'll be so surprised. There's so many guys who, like, especially like on their feet, like, they're decent mat wrestlers, but the guys in the feet that have like a niche, like one or two like takedowns that they always do. Like, maybe mine's like, I have this really good pole sweep single. Like, let's say I have a good pole sweep single, right? That's my move. You see those guys that do it the whole year, regardless if they're wrestling like the rank number 1 guy, the rank 60 guy. They just keep going for that move, right? Mm-hmm. And by the national tournament, those guys, they're hitting that move. They're going round to 32, 16. They're going blood round, round to play. They're going blood round. They're going consi semi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just because they've been hitting that move since when season. Let's just say like preseason October. They've been doing that since October, November. They've felt this setup against 58 different guys, and they've done it against 58 different guys, and it's just breaking through. Whereas myself or other guys that were being practice room warriors, it's like I have 10 reps letting go and going for that move during the year or in the right. So these guys are just constantly putting pennies in the piggy bank like the whole year. Like they might have been 500 or slightly above 500 guys, but they're guys that because they were like letting go of that thing, they got to the national tournament and they always win, or they go further than you think.
Yeah.
And the guy who does the locks up and tries to win the live go in practice, they always lose. For almost all the time, they lose at the national tournament.
I've never thought of it like that.
If they're like the same, if they're like the same,
good point.
If you're gonna put it in like a measure, like okay, let's say, Cody, I think you and Bowden are like the exact. Let's say you're the same weight.
Okay.
You guys are the exact same skill level. Like if we're doing overalls, like a video game, I think you guys are both 80 overalls. But you're an 80 overall that the entire year you were like working this shot this specific way, regardless of if you won or lost. In fact, you might have even lost to Bowden at the Bison Open or the Southern Scuffle because he got a go behind on you because you kept going for this thing, right? And then by the time you get to the national tournament, you've got so many reps going to your thing. You match up with Bowden, you beat him. It just works that way, and it's crazy to think. That's that little wall in your head.
Yep. Huh. That's some good advice right there.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, you gotta find your things. Like I say, find your superpower.
Yep.
Like I don't know what you guys like out your stuff. Like what's your thing in wrestling? Like would you, are you like I'm strong or like I'm super fast or like I think I'm you know what I mean? You gotta have your thing. Do you think you have like a thing?
I think I'm just tough, like a grinder.
Tough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
I would say you're strong as shit too. That's
yeah,
what
he
I'm
is.
thinking.
I'm pretty strong.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean I've always classified myself as a shooter. But
like you have like a shot, like
I'd say left-handed high crotch probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cody. I was going through the
Yeah.
Say strong and quick.
strong and quick.
Strong and quick.
Because
You are strong.
I mean, yeah.
I'm quick with my low, like just like burst, go behinds and stuff, and just like go.
So like
Let's say.
my giving advice as a total has-been, didn't do what he wanted, right? But you got to be able to take your superpower and you got to make it like that's how you're going to twist it to your advantage. So like when I think about like my wrestling, I was pretty damn good at like underhooks and like being a bully and like leaning on you. And like I think about some of like the patches of my career, I'm like, dude, I didn't do that at all. I sat out there, I hand fought for 7 minutes, and I hoped the guy took a half-ass shot and I got a decent reattack, right? Where in my head, if I could, turn back time, like I would have been so much better off if like every single match, I'm going to get to this tie, I'm going to pummel hard, I'm going to get to this hook, I'm going to lean on him, and the stuff's going to go like that. Same thing for you if you're like, I'm going to get to my tie, I'm going to get to my lefty high C. Yep. And if you're doing that from November all the way to March, it's just that much easier. And it makes it easier for you.
Oh, that's a point. I told these guys this, maybe, I don't know if they remember or not, but it was like there were some matches out there this year when I went out there and I just did nothing, and there was no worse feeling than losing like that.
Yeah.
Then you know, it's like if I go out there and like Cody said, a guy's just better than you, I can live with that. But it's when I go out there and don't attempt at all and just stand around, it's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know?
That's why I say, like, you just got to, like, find your superpower. Like, I remember the first time, like, I think it was COVID year, we, like, matched up with Air Force, and obviously Wyatt Hendrickson, who's at Air Force at the time, he, like, kicked my ass. He, like, just shot a low level, like, through my hands and took me down. And I was like, I didn't get taken down, like, very much at all unless they were, like, pretty highly ranked. And I'm like, what the heck was that? This guy just, like, blew through my head hands and took me down. And then, like, I started watching his stuff, and, like, he's he didn't even care. He was just dropping down like and going.
He would.
On top, he's just like going for the turn. Like he wasn't. For me, I'm like, I thought top was impossible. Like D1 heavyweight, I'm like, I can't turn these guys. I can like maybe hold them down for a little bit, but I was like, I wasn't thinking about turns. Yeah. I would like to think like I was at that point. I'm like, I was definitely bigger than him. I'm like, I hope I was like stronger, but I watch him and he's definitely smaller than me. I would think not as strong, and he's just half, tilt, turn, cradle. I'm like, what the hell? And then, you think about it later, like, you know why? He was just doing it. Yeah. Like, he was just doing it. Yeah. Like, the low level, like the low double. He wasn't like it's not a pretty shot. He was just like level change through. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And like that was his superpower is just like going for the move, right? Yeah. Like, Drexler's got that sweet like single, and he just kind of he kept doing it regardless of the opponent. One ranked guy, or like I like to say, like the 33rd guy in the bracket. Like no matter who it was, he was going for his thing, and I like to think like that's.
God, that's some good advice.
Yeah.
And you gotta have it. You gotta know like your superpower, because trying to be like I'm gonna be the best at this, and this. Yeah. It's just it doesn't work.
It's not realistic.
We kind of talked about that the other day. Like when we came in, like me specifically, this year as a freshman when I came in, I thought I had to have like this shot, this. I thought I had to have it all. No. But like it's kind of like you only need like one thing on your feet, one thing on bottom, one thing on top, and that's
exactly.
And if you just perfect that, then that's your thing, and you just get to your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just your process. Yeah. Like I think about it's so funny if you're like I said, I like underhooks, right? Mm-hmm. Like if I'm like a dog on the bone, no matter what, I'm gonna get to my damn underhook. I don't care. Like the guy could train for the 1 week how to stop the underhook, but that's not gonna stop the fact that I've been doing crazy underhooks for 6 months, and that's how I'm going to get to it, right?
Yeah, and you're going to own them.
Yeah, and then you're not going to stop until you get it.
Yes.
You're just going to keep trying.
And then when you're out there, nothing's worse than those like 2-on-1 guys. You ever see a guy that's like, I'm going 2-on-1. Yeah. like LJ.
Oh my God.
Yes, like he's got a great 2-on-1.
Yes.
And it's just like, you ever play like a video game? Or I call it like spamming. Like you'll see those guys that just like, it's like tie 2-on-1, tie 2-on-1, tie 2-on-1. Well, that whole time, the guy's doing freaking tie 2-on-1. You know what you're thinking? You're like, dude, this guy won't stop 2-on-1. You haven't thought one time in your head
about shooting.
How do I get to my lefty high? You haven't thought that because you've just been fighting out this 2-on-1 for 2.5 minutes.
God damn,
and that's you know what I mean? Like that's a superpower, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's why I think wrestling's sweet. Yep. And it's like,
God, I used to wrestle with Pearson Manville. Back when I was in like 9th grade, that's all he did. It's just come in 2-on-1. Yep. All he does.
It's great. I mean, if
he's
that's
so good at it.
That's your thing.
Yeah. He's good at it. Really good.
Yeah.
My challenge to every wrestler is like, if you're in like a slump or like not really sure, like, dude, just find your thing and be that guy.
Yeah.
Like you were teammates with like Sax, obviously, and like he would do his what do you want to call it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the lead leg,
the bait.
Yeah, like the bait. Yeah, but he was so good and confident in that position. He had done it 1,000
Yes, and he finally figured it out. It's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because everybody wanted him to wrestle different than how he wrestled, because he'd been doing that forever.
No, but that's a prime example. Even if it's freaking super goofy or unorthodox, right?
Yes. Literally let the guy shoot on his leg.
Yeah, but if you shot in his leg, he's already been there.
Yes.
Thousands of times. You've been there, depending however many times you've wrestled him in that position. You're gonna be like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. Why is he like so comfortable? Why is he?
You feel like you're getting suffocated.
Yeah. Why is he like? Going this, you know what I mean?
He's already reaching for things, and you're like, "Whoa, where are we even at?"
Like we're talking about something as ridiculous of the guy putting his whole foot out.
Yeah.
But he was so
sideways.
Yes, he was so. He was so uber confident.
Like yes.
That he was gonna like end up on top. Or like credit to him. I think that takes more nuts than just going out
It was
there.
awesome.
No, that is awesome. And I think the same way, like. If you were like, I'm gonna go collar tie, lefty high C, like if that was your thing, I would say the same thing. I'm like, that's freaking sweet.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Versus the guy that's out there just trying to grind a hand fight, that's fine and all, but I'm like, that guy's got a plan.
Right.
Execute it.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
point.
All right, random question here, Metz. Who's the most impressive person you've ever met?
I saw that I was flipping through the drogy stuff, and I was like, I was like, geez, if they asked me that, I don't know if I'd have an answer either.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with my dad, just because his brain's kind of unique. And actually, no.
And what's your dad's first name?
Chris.
Shout out, Chris.
I'm gonna change my answer.
Okay.
Sorry, Chris, Dad. I'm gonna go with my wife, Courtney.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
She's just like freaky smart, like organized, and like super passionate about like whatever she's doing at the time. So like she works in vendor accounting at Shields corporate, right? Like that's her job.
Yeah.
Accounting. Does that sound sexy to any of you guys? like in your like doing accounting, like
No, not at all.
Right.
like to you, like you're like, man,
I'd hate that.
I
So
know,
much.
right? And this is gonna sound crazy, but she loves like the culture at her job and like doing her job. She hasn't been to work. I just had her kid. She's off until for a little bit, but
Yeah.
Take that
the
time.
last few years, she's
bad.
taking her time off. But anyways, like regular week, she's going to work. She wakes up excited to go to work and be a vendor accountant at Shields.
Wow.
And like she helps lead a team there, and like she's passionate about it. Like she's like excited to go in there and solve problems and figure shit out. And I'm like, no way. Like she told me, she's like, cause like she's not gonna lie to me. I'm her husband. Like she will tell me at night, like, yeah, I get so much fulfillment from like working hard, cause like they do a good job at the company of like supporting their people. But she's just like, I don't know. It's really, cause what was your question? It was the most
Impressive.
That's impressive to me to
Yeah.
like just like
Yes.
how honorable. She wakes up ready to freaking do it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with like being a mother. She does that same energy, but.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot easier to wake up and say, I'm going to be an amazing mother versus wake up and I'm going to go find issues in Excel spreadsheets and I'm going to kill it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's awesome. Like, I wish I could think, I like my job, right? I'm not going to like diss on it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't exactly wake up and go, I can't wait to go into work and have Bowden come ask me a question about his class and figure it out.
Right.
Like, I don't say that.
Yeah.
I don't know who does. But
Right.
she does about her thing, and I'm like,
Wow.
good for you. Like, that's sweet.
That is.
And
That is
I know
awesome.
she works hard. Like, she's like, she'll like go like 4 or 5 hours without like texting me back. I'm like, geez. Like, most normal people like text back every like, 20, 30 minutes or maybe
Right.
a couple hours, right? Or something.
Yep.
She'll be like, oh, sorry, I was working on this problem. I can't do that. I don't know about you guys.
She was
can't.
taking down Iran back there in Shields.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know. I'm a little bit like that with welding. Like,
Really?
I never like wake up and like, oh, I have to go to work today. It's like, all right, what are we doing at work?
Really?
today?
Yeah.
Especially because like
that's sweet.
because your dad's like his company. I love it because it's always something new. We're never
Oh,
doing
yeah.
the same thing every day. Like we'll get a new trailer. It's in and out one day, and then we'll get a completely different trailer the same day. It's like, well, we just did two completely different trailers and two completely different things to them. And
Yeah.
it's fun doing that, and just welding's just so fun because there's so many different things you can do with it. Like you can build anything you put your mind to.
Yeah.
And I think it's just so cool that like if I really wanted to, like I could build whatever I wanted. I don't need anyone else's help. I could just do it myself. And I think that's just so fun.
No, that's badass, if I'm being honest with you. I know I didn't say he was my most impressive, my dad, but I will say Andrew's got to hang out with him. I will say, so like we're sitting at this table, right? We got can, cup, Mike's water jug. He doesn't see Mike's can, cup, water jug. He sees this end thing that goes into whatever it is, and it's going to do that. And I'm like, dude, what? My brain, that's what I'm telling you. Like I told you, like my whole life was like wrestling, football, lift, train, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then like obviously I'm a pretty good people guy. That's my skill, right? His is like he can see this conglomerate of stuff, and he sees an end. I'm like that doesn't make sense to me. Like that
How
isn't-
can we build an arm right here? that
He's not a
comes out?
college. He's not a college grad. He didn't get like an engineering degree or anything. Like he works right now. One of his big things. He got like he partnership like with Case New Holland, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
tractor company.
Yep.
And they basically contracted him for his brain.
No way.
Like, yeah, he wasn't hired to like fix it because he's really good at fixing it. He was hired because of his unique skill set to like look at the issue, look at the broken thing, and like see this end goal.
Wow.
For it. And to me, like I said, not an engineer, like didn't like get a degree. I don't even know. I doubt he'd be like amazing at like pure mathematics if he like had
Right.
Like he knows how to plug into a calculator, but the
Yeah.
guy just sees something and sees an end.
It's
That
really cool to
Maybe
work
you
with
can
him.
vouch for me on
'Cause,
that
like-
one.
like-
I can't do that.
Yeah, we'll be like working on something, and I'm like looking at it, and he's looking at it too, and he's just thinking, and then I'm like, what are we even gonna do here? Like, what can we do? And he's like, I got a plan, and then he just goes, and we just start doing something, and then it always comes out, and it looks awesome, and it's
Wow.
like, how the freak did you even think about that?
It's so weird.
And like,
because,
even
yeah.
like his office is so cool, or like his farmhouse.
Yep.
That
You've been up
thing's-
there, right?
yeah.
That's his pride and joy.
We're going up this weekend. To help
You're bringing
out.
them?
Yeah.
No way.
yeah.
It's
He'll give you some spending cash.
just like to see like how he decorated everything. It's
Yeah.
like what? I wouldn't even like think of that.
Yeah.
No, it's weird. Like he's like the closest human being to being me. He's like basically like my best friend, but he's obviously like my dad. And he can see stuff like that, and I don't have it at all. Maybe my superpower is something else, but I'm like, I don't have that.
Yeah.
I'm glad to say that's my dad.
That is so cool.
He's cool to
That
watch
is,
for
that
sure.
is so cool. All right, last question. It's an important one. You're going to a gas station. You're about to go on a
sweet.
long road trip.
Yeah.
What are you going for? This is the only stop you got, so you got to stock up here.
Oh, only. How long is the trip?
We'll say 5 hours.
Okay, 5 hours. That's not too bad. Before I give you my answer, I asked this question once to a dude from South Carolina, and he said like an iced tea and a cheese Danish, and I like lost it. It's like cheese Danish.
What even is that?
That's like that like cream cheese filled like pastry like muffin.
Dude, they're good.
And this guy said cheese Danish for his gas station.
I've never had that.
one
Okay,
either.
I just wanted to out that. Like,
Okay.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That is
Was
insane.
a cheese Danish.
Yeah.
Cheese road trip. All right, we're gonna get a sweet. We're gonna get either if it's early in the morning, early-ish. We're gonna get an energy drink, whatever they got. White
What's the
Monster,
GOAT White
Ghost,
Monster? Yeah.
whatever it is. I'm an energy drink guy.
Yeah.
I like them. I like to play around with the flavors.
Yeah.
And then probably like a sweet treat. So we're thinking either like a Reese's Big Cup.
Yeah.
Maybe a Snickers.
Oh, yeah.
One of those two.
Yeah.
And then purple bag Doritos.
Oh, those are
Not the
good.
spicy sweet chili. That's the name.
Oh,
you gotta
that's
say
insane
the purple
pick.
bag.
Those are so good.
Yeah.
Yes. And then
I've never had those. I've only had
Really?
regular
Are you
Doritos.
serious?
you
So
gotta say
good.
purple
Wow.
bags.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Okay. Purple bag.
And then if it was like later, I would be like a diet soda versus.
What's the go-to diet soda?
Oh my gosh, I'm like the diet soda king. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Diet Coke.
I drink a lot of Diet Coke. I drink Pepsi Zero Sugar,
Yeah.
Zero Sugar Cherry and Cream,
Oh.
Dr Pepper Zero, Mountain Dew, Baja Blast. Like if it's zero, I'm doing it. You should see my apartment. It's hilarious. I convinced myself like this is fuel. And my wife's a huge water drinker, and she gets so mad at me. I'm like, sometimes I'll I have a headache, and you always hear the story, or always the cliche, like the guy asked the girl, she says she has a headache. You go, has she had any water? And all she's had is like an iced coffee. That's always the other reversal. She drinks like a bunch of Stanleys of water a day.
Yeah.
She's like, you don't drink any water. I'm like, I had like 6 Diet Cokes.
It is water.
Like it's 99%.
Exactly.
But I want to hear your guys's. I want to. We can round the horn. Gas station. You can call it.
Gas
Because
station.
I mean, to no one's surprise, I'm a foodie.
Oh,
Like I live for food and drink
I got it.
and people's takes.
So, one of those waters that are like this big, whatever the cheapest one is.
Okay.
And then a bag of those Hostess glazed donuts.
Nice.
Those are-
Bag?
Yeah, the bag of them.
Oh,
dude.
the white ones.
Yeah, but like the glaze.
Oh, they got like
Oh,
little like
glazed?
McDonald's like cookie bag. Oh, never mind.
No.
Yeah,
It's-
I'm showing
no,
some heavyweight
you know what a
guys.
hostess is? Hostess.
But I know
Oh,
the
yeah.
bag you're talking about.
You know how like that the powdered donuts?
Yes.
Like that, but glazed donuts.
They've glazed?
Uh-huh. Those are good. Glazed donuts.
Glazed
Okay?
donuts.
And then the
And a big
chocolate.
water.
Chocolate milk.
Really?
That's it?
Certain brand out here in Midwest or
Don't care. Chocolate milk.
like the Swiss Miss? That's the stuff in the shack.
Chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk. Really? Some stuff's watered down than others, I feel like sometimes.
I think chocolate milk is chocolate milk. Chocolate milk is
there's
good.
definitely a difference. Like back home, there's two like big chocolate milk brands, Richie and Gallagher's. Richie is like a lot like thicker chocolate and stronger.
Yeah.
But the Gallagher's is like the creamy version.
So which one's better?
Gallagher's.
Okay.
To me, I like the Gallagher's. Like my family, we're all like have our own preference with
Okay.
that.
I love chocolate milk.
Yeah,
but I'm
me
also
too.
like, I
Chocolate
eat so
milk's
much
good.
where I'm like, I have to have, I'm like, if I'm going to eat the way I eat, I'm like, I got to go 0 cal on my beverages. So like chocolate milk does not go inside with my diet.
It's a lot of
It's just
calories.
adding.
That
Wait.
is funny.
I got thrown those purple Doritos too.
Oh, yeah.
Those
Purple
are,
bag.
yeah,
A lot of love for the purple bag.
Yeah.
they're so
Those,
good.
those are so
At
good.
least he's never had them, so it's not.
Yeah, I gotta give those a try.
I'll start eating them and just pound a bag.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
It's that easy.
All right, mine. So like I have a sugar problem. Like this is I'm just a big sugar guy. I could hardly really care less about savory stuff. So my go-to is Hostess, but they got these little cupcakes, like chocolate cupcakes. They got white filling in the middle. So
Yeah,
they're,
like a
they're
little
in
design on top.
packs of 2.
Oh,
Yeah, they
yeah,
got the
yeah.
little swirl
Yeah,
on top.
yeah.
Those are so
Yeah,
good.
so I'm getting a pack of those, and then I'm getting Lifesaver gummies, wild berry flavor.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I'm either it's like a dead tie. I'm either going a Snapple apple flavor or I'm going a naked strawberry banana flavor.
Oh.
One of the two.
You were really outside the box there.
Oh, I love that, dude. that was always my go-to. Go to
What was the Lifesaver gummies? What flavor?
wild berry flavor.
berry.
That's the only way to go on those.
You ever seen that one guy? I think it was like on TikTok or Instagram Reels, where he's like, "Lifesaver gummies, Reese's Pieces." Never mind. I'm showing some real brain rot here. There was a guy who was like, he was talking about those two things. That was like his thing. That's what it makes me think.
I have
Every
not
time-
seen that.
Every time I'll send it after.
Okay.
Every time I think of Lifesaver gummies, I think of this little dude talking about Reese's Pieces, Lifesaver gummies. I'm there. Sorry. Your turn.
That's funny. So I definitely get a coffee and a water.
Black
For
coffee?
sure. A little cream, a little vanilla. Cream.
Okay.
I mean, I'll drink it black, but
Yeah,
I prefer a little
prefer.
cream. Yeah. And then a water, Propel grape, for sure. And then I'm going to get 2 packs of dill pickle sunflower seeds.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
definitely pound them both on the way there. And then, honestly, that's probably it.
Yeah, I was
Really?
It may a sub,
Is there
but
ever a moment where you're eating like the sunflower seeds and simultaneously drinking the coffee, or those two?
yeah, you can. You can have a mouthful of seeds in just
No way.
yeah.
Oh my
That's
god.
That's some.
Okay, now that's a hot take right there. I gotta
Yeah, that's
say.
bold. I like it.
Yeah.
I like the energy. If you were, I mean, there's a video of me out there doing flaming hot Cheetos and like a thing of Jif peanut butter
Oh my god.
That sounds like it could be good.
for a bite.
That
I'm a sucker for a try.
that just made me think of. Didn't you do one time you tried to like drink a gallon of milk or something and got
That's right,
like
we
this
talked about it.
close and threw up or something?
Yeah, me and Mike Nelson, we did the gallon challenge. He did whole, I did chocolate.
Oh.
And we both finished, but then we went in his backyard and just
Oh.
like just waterfall.
No.
And all I
way.
felt like, I just felt like my, like, you know, your throat like has like a smell, like, or like your breath.
Yeah,
like,
you
I
can,
just
like,
kept
feel it.
breathing like Swiss Miss for like the rest of the day.
Oh,
But it kind of, it's so
Yeah.
icy cold. It kind of like
Did
like
you?
my esophagus.
Oh my goodness!
Like this
Yeah.
milk. milk.
oh.
Did you just do that because you wanted to, or was somebody like, "Oh,
Oh no,
I bet
we
you
were,
can"?
we were doing challenges.
Yeah.
So I did like, I did like 50 or 75 like Chick-fil-A nuggets.
I saw that.
It was so easy.
Yeah, you
'Cause it was little,
crushed
smaller than
it.
you think. But it was just like we were just doing stuff like that because like I think that was like COVID time where like we were like looking for
Things to do.
Yeah.
Chicken challenge.
Flamin' Hot. Oh, like a lot of chug, chug like a. It was like a Sprite.
Oh.
Chug a Sprite. Don't burp.
Have you seen the?
Yeah,
wasn't it
one rip.
Sprite banana or something?
Yes, and you throw up. That's
a
a throw up.
challenge.
Oh, that-
But this one was like rip a whole Sprite and don't burp, and I did that one pretty easy.
Really?
You didn't
Yeah.
burp?
A 2-liter?
No,
Oh,
Like
I was
just
like,
like low-
holy
it was like the 20 ounce. Like
Oh.
That's still
Yeah, that's
aggressive.
still
Yeah.
tough.
I bet.
Isn't it something like
Get a 2
the
liter, 0 sugar. Just,
the Sprite and banana? Isn't that like a guaranteed throw up? Like,
it's
isn't
like the
there?
two the acidity of the two, or it's just like
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
like you're
okay.
done.
Wait, so if you drink Sprite and eat a banana,
chug Sprite and then eat a banana. The banana touches the Sprite belly.
Yeah,
I just go,
and you will throw up.
It's
I've
like,
never
it's like a
seen that.
Mentos
Try it.
Diet Coke thing.
Yeah.
I'll pass. I'll pass.
Diet Coke and Mentos.
It's like
Yeah.
that kind of combination
Yeah.
in your belly.
Dude, imagine ripping that in your belly.
Oh,
little Coke and then Mentos. That'd
Might
be
come out
nuts.
both ends.
It's a new oil change.
Flush you out.
Flush you out.
Yeah.
Well, guys.
Yeah, sweet.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Brandon.
Appreciate
Appreciate it.
Thank you.